In 2004, Bungie introduced us for the first time to the Scarab with Halo 2. Once Halo 3 came around and mod tools were good enough, people were able to drive that thing pretty easily by slapping a driver's seat onto it. That's because it was essentially a giant AI and had all of its animations and everything set up to just work. Unfortunately, the Halo 2 Scarab was not even close to the same. It was a giant set piece that moved in a highly scripted manner. That means it's basically impossible to drive that Scarab. However, back in Halo Custom Edition on PC, one of my favorite maps, Extinction, had a Halo 2 Scarab vehicle. When I was a kid, that thing was super badass. However, the nostalgia goggles are off, and as a perfectionist, I can tell you that this was definitely made with 2006 modding tools. Don't get me wrong, this Scarab is really good for its time, but it's 2021 now, 15 years later, and 343 has released official modding tools for Halo 1, so I'm gonna do what I do best, making a modded Halo vehicle more polished than anyone else has before. Welcome to Mombasa Canals. This is a highly work-in-progress map that I am actively working on, of course, and this here is the Scarab vehicle that I have been slaving over for about a week, maybe a little bit longer. It's overall very faithful to the Halo 2 design. I got some help with the textures to make them more higher resolution. Because Halo 1 doesn't support bump mapping on anything except the environment, I had to kind of fake it till I make it by doing some tricks that were taught to me. And overall, I'm super happy with how this thing has turned out. Now, I'm going to hop in before it respawns so I don't die instantly. And as you can see, it's pretty nice, if I do say so myself. I am competing with a vehicle that was made in 2006, so I have a lot of very fantastic tools at my disposal. As you can see, the walking animations are directly ported from Halo 2. It's very fluid, it looks pretty natural. I've gone ahead and added some custom animations for the head so it can look up and around and all that stuff. There's a bunch of lights and effects underneath the Scarab, which I'll show in a minute, that really bring it to that Halo 2 look. And of course, the Scarab can fire its main beam. And I just love that. That is so cool to me. One of the things that I did that is kind of a small detail, but I have to point out, is when the Scarab is not being actively used, the head closes, and then once you get into it, it will open back up, and you can kind of tell who's in the Scarab based on that animation there. This thing is insanely powerful. If I was in a multiplayer game right now, people would be getting obliterated. I'll make another video showing off these Halo 2 Pelicans down there that I ported into Halo 1 here. But for now, I'll just leave that as a little teaser. The Scarab itself is fully collidable. I did a ton of work to make it as accurate as possible. You've got all the holograms floating around the inside and a little bit on the outside here. You can even jump down onto the legs and, well, try not to slide off like I did right there. This is a perfect opportunity to show off the bottom, though. I spent a lot of time porting the effects and the lens flares from Halo 2 to make this as accurate as possible. Even the head there has the proper light volumes and effects. And of course, we're on a map that I tried my hardest to make look like Metropolis from Halo 2. The lighting and everything lends the Scarab a really, really good feel. This Scarab vehicle has come a long way since I first started, and I've got a ton of progress footage where I can show you exactly what's gone on between it starting and where it is now. I'll show you some multiplayer footage of me and my friend Green Knight messing around and having a blast with these things in a minute, but first, I want to give you a little history of kind of how I made this, because you might just find it a little bit interesting. The beginning of my adventure to create this Scarab started out like this, white and blocky. This single image is all I have from the original import, and I was super happy to have this because it was my second model import ever into Halo CE. Later on, I was actually able to import a basic walking animation for the Scarab and throw some textures on it. You'll note that there are no front or rear turrets on this thing, and the shading is pretty meh. Later on, I was able to get a opening and a firing animation for the head of the Scarab, which was pretty cool, but unfortunately I didn't have a beam, so it just shot out rockets. Even later, I spent several hours adding effects and porting various different lens flare images directly from Halo 2 for all that good, juicy accuracy. This was definitely one of the most crucial parts, as the Scarab would not be the same without these effects. Later on, I did a lot of adjustments to the shaders. They were a bit too shiny here, but you can see I added the Scarab beam in, and the animations for firing, walking, and everything, it was starting to come together at this point, and I was pretty happy with it. Then, after changing the map lighting to a much more brown and kind of gritty color and changing up the beam effects quite a bit, as well as adding the rear and front turrets, this Scarab was really coming together, and I was super happy with the progress. Later on, I spent an entire day learning how to import sounds into Halo CE, and I got the sounds for walking, charging, firing, and other Scarab sounds into the game. On top of that, I moved the Scarab over to my new map, Mombasa Canals, and the lighting on that map, which I also pulled from Halo 2, lent a lot to the Scarab's appearance and making it feel more nostalgic and more proper. Once I had the sounds done, I went into the Scarab's interior and gave it a little bit of love by adding in all of the holograms and the glowing parts that the interior should have, and overall, I really am happy with how it looks. Finally, once I had this looking good, I added aiming animations as well as completely redoing the walking animation so it wasn't just like the chassis was floating along, it bounces and bobs around, and it feels a lot more natural. On top of that, I added a secondary turret on the top, which I did not show off earlier because, frankly, it's not quite done yet. But this is how the Scarab exists now, and it looks so good. There are still things I want to do to it to make it better, such as improved particles, finishing up that top turret, and a couple other things. But I'll leave you with some really fun footage my friend Green Knight and I recorded back a little bit ago, and, well, enjoy.
The leg.
Stanky leg. Stanky leg. Wait, can I? Oh, I dominate you. This is.
Oh my god.
This is inappropriate.
This can't be in a video. That ain't right. Wait, I'm gonna try to get stepped on. Oh god. Oh god. Oh, I missed.
Almost.
Wait, go back. It's because you gotta hit me with the little toe part. Oh god, it kicked me.
Hey.
Wait, I'm trying to like compensate, like move. Oh come on! Oh! Just kicked it. Oh!
Almost.
Let me in. Let me in.
Thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video. If you enjoyed, you can always leave a like, and if you want to see more Halo mods at your YouTube feed, you can subscribe as well. I would very much appreciate it. All of my work in progress pictures you saw in this video were available on my Twitter as I was making it, so you can go follow me on Twitter, link in the description if you're interested. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.